Previewing every single conference tournament in college basketball, this time we're taking a look at the NEC, the Northeast Conference. Make sure you guys like and follow if you've been enjoying these conference tournament previews, even the ASUN tournament predictions where I did not get a single thing correct. The NEC is generally considered one of the worst conferences in college basketball, but that didn't stop their NCAA Tournament representative, Fairleigh Dickinson, from doing what they did last year. Now, FDU didn't win this tournament last year. They only made the NCAA Tournament because Merrimack was ineligible, but it still goes to show that these smaller conference tournaments are still important. You can't count anybody out because it's March, and you just never know. First up, number 1, Central Connecticut versus number 8, St. Francis. While this may not be the best conference top to bottom, I still think it would be a significant upset for St. Francis to win this game. Central Connecticut swept the season series. While one of those games was close, I would be surprised if the Blue Devils don't win this one by double digits. They're just better in every aspect of the game. St. Francis is a good offensive rebounding team, but Central Connecticut is a very good defensive rebounding team, so they sort of cancel out the one advantage St. Francis could have. I'm taking the Blue Devils. Number 4, Moyne versus number 5, Fairleigh Dickinson. Moyne is new to Division I, so the Dolphins would be ineligible for the NCAA Tournament, even if they were to win the NEC Championship game. These teams split the season series. Most recently, FDU went to Moyne, got a double-digit victory on the road. This will be a fun game just because Moyne has played their best basketball at home, and FDU has been really solid on the road this year. I really like Moyne's duo of Cleary and Sutherland, 2 guys who are averaging 15 points a game. They have a slight edge in terms of both offensive and defensive efficiency, plus they went 9-3 at home this year. I'm going to take the Dolphins to win this game. Number 3, Sacred Heart versus number 6, Wagner. Sacred Heart swept the season series. They get to host this game. They're a better offensive team. They have a size advantage. This Wagner offense just isn't very good. They play pretty much exclusively through upperclassman guard Melvin Council Jr., who's averaging 15 points a game but hasn't been very efficient, and he's taken 200 more shots than the next closest player on his team. They're just not very balanced on the offensive end, and it's not entirely their fault. They got hit with the injury bug pretty bad this year, and I think otherwise they'd be a lot more dynamic and a lot more of a threat to win this game, but at this point, they're just hoping Melvin Council Jr. goes off and carries them to a win, which isn't entirely out of the question. Sacred Heart's defense isn't very good, so a Melvin Council Jr. legacy game is definitely in the cards, but I think Sacred Heart just has too many advantages in this game. They're much more balanced. They have 4 guys averaging over 10 points a game. I'm taking Sacred Heart. Number 2, Merrimack versus number 7, LIU. Similar to the Central Connecticut St. Francis game, it would be very surprising if LIU were to pull off an upset here. Merrimack is just a significantly better team. They get to host this game. LIU has won a single road game this year. It was against a Stonehill team that was so bad they didn't even make the NEC tournament. So, give me Merrimack. Number 1, Central Connecticut against number 4, Moyne. Central Connecticut suffered just 3 losses in conference play this year, 2 of which came to Moyne, a 2-point loss and a 5-point overtime loss. I think this would be a close, competitive game. Like I said, I like the duo of Cleary and Sutherland for Moyne, but I can't ignore how inconsistent the Dolphins have been this year. They've been one of the most inconsistent teams in all of college basketball, and part of the reason for that is their struggles in playing on the road. I think Central Connecticut has the edge in this one playing at home. I do think they are a better team, and they're due to get a win over Moyne. I'm going to take Central Connecticut. Number 3, Sacred Heart versus number 2, Merrimack. These teams split their season series. I do think this one could be competitive, but I'm going to side with Merrimack to win the game. They just lost at Sacred Heart by 4, but when they hosted them earlier in the year, they dog-walked them, beat them by 24 points. I think the big difference in this one is the defense. Merrimack's a good defensive squad, and Sacred Heart is a bad defensive squad. For the NEC Championship and the automatic bid to the NCAA Tournament, I've got number 1, Central Connecticut taking on number 2, Merrimack. These teams split the season series. Both games were pretty close. Obviously, both teams will be motivated to win this game, but I do think there's a little added motivation for Merrimack. They won the conference regular season last year. They won the conference tournament last year, but they weren't eligible for March Madness because of the NCAA transition rules. They were relatively new to D1. This year, not the case. If they win this game, they're in the NCAA tournament. And once again, I'm going to side with Merrimack's defense. In the context of the NEC, it's downright elite. If you go on Torvik, filter over the last 2 months, they're top 50 in the country. Far and away the best in the NEC. Nobody else is remotely close. The one thing that Merrimack struggles at is offense. And that could be the great equalizer in this game because Central Connecticut is a pretty solid offensive team. Not world beaters or anything, but pretty solid. So if Merrimack struggles to score, they could be in some trouble. But I think the defense holds up well enough to give them the win. Those are my picks. I've got Merrimack defeating Central Connecticut for the NEC Championship. I don't really see much sleeper potential in this conference. I don't think any of the bottom 4 seeds really have a chance to win the conference tournament. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know what your picks are. Make sure you're following for more college basketball content.